Hi, everybody. Dan Illman and Mike Beer, the DRF Bets race of the day for Saturday, April the 25th. It's race number 10 at Oaklawn Park. It's the $125,000 Carousel Stakes. Check out those DRF mobile pass performances. You can get true mobile access on your phone anywhere, anytime. Experience those DRF Classic PPs and the exclusive lifetime buyer speed figure graph. Learn more at drf.com/MPPS. Here's the field for the carousel. You can download free formulator pass performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Access them, handicap along with us. It's the seasonal debut of the number one, Bellafina. 8-5 on the morning line, Mike. And if she shows up with her best effort, she's going to be really, really tough.
Yeah, she is. I mean, this is a solid field to be sure, but I agree with you. If she shows up, and there's a layoff to deal with here, Dan, as well as, cutting back to 6 for the first time in forever. But boy, her last 2 races when they cut her back at the end of last year were big performances. And if she runs one of those, it's hard to see her losing in here.
There is a lot of speed in here, according to the Timeform US Pace Projector, and I'd have to agree. I'd also agree that the 6, Amy's Challenge, if aggressively ridden, is the speed of the speed. I do think the 3, Sunny Dale's going to be close to the pace, and I wouldn't be surprised if the 5, Classy Act, is a little bit closer than where the Timeform US Pace Projector has her.
I'll agree with all that. I wouldn't be surprised if Bellafina is a little closer as well, Dan, especially based on her La Brea last time.
Let's watch Bellafina's La Brea. I thought it was a super effort considering she was very aggressively ridden out of the gate. She battled 2 other pace horses into the ground, and then she was run down at the very, very end by Hard Not to Love, who sat back and laughed and benefited from the hot pace, and Hard Not to Love came back to win her next star with a 100 buyer speed figure. I think it was the second unlucky race in a row for Bellafina, because in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint, Flevian Pratt took her down to the inside, and she ended up waiting behind a wall of horses on the far turn. By the time she angled to the far outside to get a clear run, it was just a little too late to run by Kafefi. So a little unlucky in her last 2 races, but I thought she ran great both times.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, Dan. I really like each of her last 2 races, and it was sort of always the book on her, right? She was good going longer, but it just felt like she didn't really want true route distances. Cutting her back was a good thing. Now, we'll see. Cutting all the way back to 6, that may not be what she wants. She might want a little bit longer than this. But again, she runs her good race, and here she's supposed to be a handful.
I have a lot of respect for the number 2 Midnight Fantasy because it seems she has the tactical speed to get a good trip each and every time, as she did last time out in the Spring Fever going 5.5. Let's watch that race right now. Midnight Fantasy is on the far outside, and she's just striking the front. Just getting clear right now is Amy's Challenge, and I think the rides and the trips might have made the difference, Mike. I liked how Martin Garcia had Midnight Fantasy not only on the outside and in the clear, but hemming Amy's Challenge in on the far turn. He got the jump on Amy's Challenge turning into the lane. The margin was only a neck.
Yeah, it did sort of feel like that made all the difference. Midnight Fantasy was sort of 4 wide all the way around the track in there, but being clear felt like it made all the difference at the end, as well as the shorter 5.5 furlong distance. That probably made the difference as well. I'm not knocking this horse. Her overall form, especially sprinting on the dirt, is really, really good, but this is a way tougher spot.
This is the stakes debut for the number 3, Sunny Dale, and she deserves an opportunity. She's won her last 3 races, all of those at Oaklawn Park. And in this race, though, she just never gave her opponents a chance. She blasted right to the front, got an uncontested pace, and holds sway under the wire. The pace situation is going to be a lot different with Amy's Challenge in here. I do think Joel Rosario will put her on ascend.
It does feel like that's her best game. I mean, it feels like that she really wants to be part of the pace when she runs. That's where all of her good efforts have come. And we'll just see how it works out against better horses in here.
The number 4, What a Fox, finished 3rd in the Spring Fever Stakes that we just showed you. Maybe 5.5, a bit sharp for her, but she got a good fast pace to run at, and she just wasn't good enough on that day. It is worth noting that her 2 best buyer speed figures have come on wet tracks.
That is worth noting. I respect the fact that she's improved since Diodoro claimed her. Her form has really ticked upward for this barn. And you're right. She didn't. The 5.5 was probably a little short for her last time, but the pace was there for her, Dan. There might be pace for her in here as well, but there's also better horses.
Classy Act is 15-1 on the morning line. She's won her last 2 dirt efforts, including this race at Oaklawn Park back in February. Now, she was part of a 3-ply pace battle with 2 other long shots. She's in between those foes in the stretch, and for the longest time, it appears this pace to hold up. It looked like she was in deep water in mid-stretch. She is able to dig down and win it, but you'll note there are 6 on the line together.
Right. They just all hit it together in here. She did a lot of hard work up on the pace. If nothing else, Dan, she's a horse that, going all the way back to when she was a 3-year-old, she's a very game horse. And when she gets up there contesting the pace, she doesn't give in readily. I don't know if this trip will really work out for her with the other speeds involved. She's a little underrated, though. And if she's going to be a big price, I wouldn't argue with anybody who wants to use her.
Amy's Challenge, number 6, is a multiple stakes winner at Oaklawn, and she's now making her 3rd start of the form cycle. We saw her effort in the Spring Fever. She ran just fine. I was a bit surprised that she didn't make the lead in that race, considering her history of going right to the front. She ran really well. My one concern is her 2 buyers since coming back, they just haven't been of the par of the Amy's Challenge that we saw from 2018, 2019. I wonder if at the age of 5, she's just lost perhaps a half a step.
I was concerned about that as well. So we'll see. 3rd off the layoff. Maybe you'll get her best effort this time. I do think she took a step in the right direction last time. Probably was best in the Spring Fever, even though she didn't win that race. Getting out to 6 furlongs probably helped her in this spot.
Lady Subi, the number 7, is a horse turning back from 1 1/16. Last time out in the Grade 3 Bayakoa, I just couldn't find an excuse. She went to the front. I thought she set a very reasonable pace that day, and she was no match when the other horses came calling. She pretty much called it a day at the 3/16 pole. She's done some okay work sprinting in the past, but she likes to be close to the pace, and I don't think she's as fast as some of the other Blazers. I actually kind of prefer her as a miler type.
It's funny. That is where her only stakes win has come at a 2-turn mile at Del Mar. I actually like the turn back for her. I think cutting back to a sprint will benefit this horse. I'm just not a fan, Dan. I just don't think she's good enough to beat this field.
Mia Mischief is just a cool horse. She won the Grade 1 Humana Distaff last year with a 99 buyer speed figure. And over the winter, she sold for $2.4 million to Stone Street and was given back to Steve Asmussen. And in the first start for Stone Street, we see her win this optional claimer. This is a good prep. I didn't think she had to work too hard. There wasn't a lot of pace on. She saved ground on the backstretch, got the split turning for home, and went about her business. It's the kind of race that she can build on, Mike. And second off the layoff with this outside post position, I think she can rate off this fast pace while in the clear. On her best day, she's more than capable of winning a race like this.
No, I agree with that 100%. I really like that comeback race for her there. The pace, as you say, wasn't fast. She could have gone to the lead, but they were just content to sit in behind and then take over when she was ready to do that. A really nice prep race for her. She's already a Grade 1 winner sprinting. Listen, I like Bellafina in this race, but I will not be surprised when Mia Mischief beats her.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Carousel Stakes. We've got the same triple in here, Mike. We're both going with Bellafina on top. We both like 186. You're going 1862. I'm going 1863. We'll see if Bellafina can get back to her winning ways. I think Bellafina and Mia Mischief can both make noise in the filly and mare sprint division this year.
I agree. I think it's actually a really nice matchup between the two. I am siding with Bellafina just because her last 2 races to me are just really, really good. But she's also going to be a very short price in this race, Dan. And Mia Mischief is a quality sprinter.
Race number 10 at Oaklawn is your Saturday DRF race of the day, and the approximate post time for the $125,000 Carousel Stakes is 5:16 Central. Good luck.